going to be fun. I promise. Karen Holton TV presents the Aliens and Angels podcast. Meet experiencers, contactees, abductees, ET human hybrids, and more weird paranormal states of reality. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Aliens and Angels podcast. I just want to let you know I'm having a few difficulties with the internet. We're having a massive windstorm, so if we cut in and out, I apologize in advance, but we're still going to do the show. And today I'm so excited because my guests are the people from the UFO Man podcast, and we'll be discussing some of their amazing experiences and contact today. Let's start by telling you about Tim Dust. He's the creator of the UFO Man podcast. He's an experiencer and an emotional empath and UFO videographer and researcher. Tim was in the U.S. Army, E5 Sergeant, retired, and his co-hosts are Sarah Jean Clement and Polly Roderman, who are also experiencers, UFO researchers, and panelists on the UFO Man podcast. All of the links are featured below. I want to thank you in advance for liking, commenting, subscribing, and please do share my content with your friends. I'm really happy to announce that YouTube channel memberships are now available, so you can help to support my channel and receive my perks. Now, without further ado, let's bring on the original UFO man, Tim Dust.
Hello.
Sarah and Polly. Everybody's here. Thank you so much for joining us. I think I'll just quickly run to the chat and check that out. And then we will start by, I'm going to ask you guys how y'all got started in this. If you want to talk a little bit about your experiences. What I think is really unique about your channels and your program is that you're actual experiencers. Makes a whole difference when it comes to supporting others with similar or even different experiences. But you guys all know it's the real McCoy, so it's just awesome, very validating. Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Let's see who we got. Oh, we got Sarah on here.
Yeah.
We got Snark and Sass. Welcome to the show. We got, sorry, I'm having a little bit of trouble with my thing. Oh, for Pete's sake. Sorry, guys. What it does is it keeps putting hide current comment on top of the comment. So then I'm not able to, well, we'll just have to miss that one. I'll just say my flock 000, welcome.
That's me.
Oh, that's you. Okay.
Yeah, my flock is everywhere. That's me.
Okay. And Denise has put this out for you guys so everybody can find you. And Denise and and also this one, Denise and Phoenix are my moderators. Very grateful to have them in the house. They are amazing. Let's see. Here, in case you want to make a donation, you can go to Buy Me a Coffee. And let's see what else we got. I want to just get everybody in here. We got Michael Kennedy. Welcome. Nice to see you in the house. And let's see. Oh, that's such a great name. Foggy Notions Podcast. Welcome to the show. Kitty Caddywhack. Welcome to the show. And let's see if I missed anybody.
Hey, Kitty. Good to see you again.
Yeah, thanks guys for helping me out. I think
Esmeralda.
we already did Michael Kennedy. Say hi.
Michael.
Hello.
Hi, Esmeralda. Long time no see.
And Mr. Kennedy 411, welcome. And Oh, here's one. Greek Culture 101. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Jeremy.
He's one of our good buddies.
Awesome. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we really are one big family. And, you know, we got to, I think, well, we don't have to, but I think it's wonderful to set the example on our podcast. You know, we're friends. We love each other. We've shared some amazing experiences. There's Michael King Q, HHT in the house. Welcome. Esmeralda, let's see if we can get you up here. Oh, fiddlesticks. Sorry, guys.
Jiminy Crickets.
Jiminy Crickets. I'm trying to show our friend. Oh, heavens. I'm going to spend the whole day cursing. Sorry. Try not to. There we go. There she is. Esmeralda. Nice to see you in the house. And let's see. Oh, this is interesting. We got someone called, this probably is one of you guys' friends, Gregory the cameraman.
Yes, I know him too. He does a lot of stuff in the First Amendment community.
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I think
Good
maybe
dude.
have everybody. We're on the end.
We need to mention one thing.
Sure.
If Polly pops out,
Mm-hmm.
she's in a war zone,
Mm-hmm.
in the war zone that's going on right now. So if she pops out, she may have to run to a bunker. So please bear with us and please pray for her safety.
Yes, I was going to mention that. Please pray for our friend Polly. You know, Polly, I love her so much. She's a deep feeling woman. She's very sensitive. She really gets things down to her core. And for her, sorry, I should talk to you, Polly. For you to be in that kind of circumstances just makes me shudder. So I don't want to get on too much about politics today because God knows there's enough of that out there already. But I do want to say we love you, Polly, and my prayers are definitely with you so that I'm hoping you can stay safe.
Thank you so much, guys. I truly appreciate it, and I so appreciate
Safe
the
for
fact
Polly.
that you've been here supporting and loving no matter really our beliefs. You know, we are human beings, and this is a tough situation for everyone that is living it, no matter who you are. So yeah, let's just have a nice conversation about what really matters right now, which is, I think, you know, loving and supporting each other and doing what we are doing, which is sharing our stories and experiences for the community to grow the consciousness and support and love that we need, you know, because we've been judged all the time because of our religions and our sexual preferences or our politic beliefs. And you know what, bottom line, it doesn't matter, because you know, I am at war. I am at war right now, running from missile to missile, and this is a death and alive situation where you really see things from another perspective. Well, you need to understand that family and real friends and people that love and support you for who you are as a human being, with your experience and your alien experiences, you know. So that's the message. We need to change, to go back, to stay humane, to go back to our humane,
right, our humanity.
Yeah,
exactly.
And learn to love each other. And I think that's the best way to have full disclosure and to take our place with our ET brothers and sisters and cousins, you know, who I have found have been very peaceful. Now, not everyone's had that experience, but in my experience, for sure. So I think that's really important. Sorry, Tim, did I cut you off?
I was just going to tell Polly we all have her 6.
Yeah.
She'll understand that because she served 2 years in the IDF, so she is a veteran.
Absolutely. So how about Tim, since you're the one who created UFO Man, there's UFO Man 1 and UFO Man 2. I know you've had some problems getting locked out of your own channel. That's a bummer. But you want to tell us a bit about your experience and how that basically got you to create your own channels and a little bit about that.
Okay, well, back in the 90s, my partner at the time was having encounters in our apartment. One encounter was she saw the wall disappear and she heard clicking and hissing noises behind the darkness. She couldn't move, she couldn't scream, and she fell asleep. When she woke up, she had intense pain in her hip, her left hip. And she remembered later that day that she had seen a silver rod tap her on her left hip. It was glowing. And the bird that we had at the time, it was a cockatiel, and it was in a cage on the floor next to her bed with a drape over it. The bird was reacting. He was screeching. So obviously there was something going on in that room. I checked her hip out and she had a mark, like a burn. She went to the doctor and checked it out. They said that she was indeed burned, and it looked like a cauterizing burn. And she had never had any type of medical procedure that would cause that. So that was the first encounter. And then like a month later, my apartment was quite small. I had a living room that was probably 7 foot by 7 foot. And in one corner, I had a big entertainment system with the big 27-inch analog TV and all my stereo equipment. And my partner woke up in the middle of the night and turned on the TV. Well, when the TV comes on, it lights up the whole room. She saw what she told me was a hooded figure that blocked out half the TV, and the TV was on the top of the stand. So it was at least 4.5 feet high. And this figure was above that, so 5 feet tall, 6 feet tall. And it was floating. It was floating toward me. I was sleeping on the couch that was on the opposite wall. And she was sleeping in a hospital bed that was along the other wall. So it was kind of like she was here, and if you can imagine an L shape, I was underneath the bay window to our apartment. And I was sleeping, and I had gone to bed that night with my shorts on and my t-shirt on the proper way. And this creature being was floating toward me, she said. It wasn't walking, it was hovering above the ground. She said she saw what appeared to be a tail sticking toward the back. The hood blocked the face, and at the time she didn't see any hands. She couldn't recall the hands sticking out of the sleeves, but it was floating toward me. She tried to warn me, but she could only move her eyes. She could not scream. She could not make a sound. And all of a sudden she blacked out. When I woke up in the morning, my clothes were on inside out and wrong side too. And I had 3 bruise marks, like impact bruises on top of each knee, as if I was being held down. So that encounter occurred. Later on, as I questioned her later on, a couple months later, if she recalled anything else about that night. And she said, yes, I recalled the hands. She said the hands were scaly with long claws. So the theory that we had, because it's only speculation, is that it could have been a reptilian, a watcher that was interacting with me for some reason. And then after that, we started taking road trips out at nighttime to go to a local casino to have fun. And on the way there, we started seeing lights in the sky. Lots of different colored lights zipping around and hovering in place and moving in formations, almost militaristic formations. And I wanted to get a camera that could film them, but I didn't have the money at the time. So we had to wait till about, well, she and I separated, and then about 4 years after we separated, I purchased a Psionics Aurora Black infrared night vision camera that allows you to pick up objects that you cannot see with the naked eye, because we can't see in infrared, and night vision pops out images that aren't very well seen with the naked eye. I caught a craft flying over my building that came straight down from the Big Dipper. And it was close enough to where you could see a round white ball with your naked eye. But with the camera, I saw a sphere. Well, first it came out of the trees like a triangle with the long side facing forward, and it was moving to the right. And as it moved to the right slowly, it changed into an oval, and then it changed into a sphere. When it changed into a sphere, it cast an infrared light beam onto the tops of some 65 to 70 foot pine trees. And then it would turn off the lights and move farther ahead. And then it would cast the light from the back of the object down onto the pine trees, like it was scanning the trees. The light did not hit the ground, only the top of the trees. And then it kept going a little farther, and it changed into a wedge, and it flew over the top of our building. One of my friends who was filming also with a Psionics Aurora Sport infrared night vision camera ran around the building and caught it disappearing, and it looked like a camera shutter. It went over the light and it was out. Now, we also had a third camera facing the opposite direction along the sidewalk, along the side of our building, and it caught the craft behind us, casting a light beam toward where we were sitting in the dark. So it had circled around and had come behind us and was scanning us. That was considered by a couple of major UFO groups as the best UFO footage of 2023 because it showed the infrared light beam. You don't see it too often, and we have it on film. It is on UFO Man, the original channel. It is not on the new channel yet. that indicated to me that UFOs are real. Now, I have seen several orange lights inside a clear bubble fly right over my building where I live. And it's with the naked eye. Since then, I would say upwards of 100. They are all over the place. If you look up, you will see them, but you got to get to where there's no light pollution. Cities, you got to go out in the country. You got to get out to where it's dark, and then you can film the sky and look at it. The night we caught the big one that flew over the roof that changed into a wedge, we had just had a massive rainstorm, and it was moving out, and that's when we saw the object. Maybe that has to do with it. So how I started UFO Man was, or why I started it, was to find out if any other people had seen what I had seen. Now, I have to mention one sighting that I haven't mentioned yet. Back in the late 80s, early 90s, I was living in a city called Chatfield, Minnesota. Myself, along with 11 other people, saw 6 rectangular objects in broad daylight with rounded corners that had what looked like living orange fire within it, within the confines of the object. Each object was evenly spaced from each other. The second one from the left was tumbling end over end. We noticed that it was halfway up from the ground to the cloud cover. When I was inside the house, I had been watching the weather, and the weatherman had said we had a 1,000-foot cloud cover. So we figured it was about 500 feet up, 50 feet away. So it was pretty close. These objects made no sound. They sat in place for 25 minutes, and then they zoomed off toward a city called Spring Valley. So they went southeast, and they looked like a pinpoint, and then they came back to the original spot and sat in that military formation. And then they started to disappear one after another, right to left, until they were gone. I mentioned to my friends that were watching it, I said, you know, UFOs have a tendency to return at another day. So 2 days later, I heard my neighbor upstairs screaming, Tim, they're back, they're back. I came outside, there were 3 that were back in the same spot, same shapes, same formation, and they sat there for 25 minutes and then left. That was a big sighting. It made the newspaper. I tried to, it made the local small town newspaper. I tried to get it on the big newspapers. They wouldn't report it because they said it was too touchy of a subject. I tried to get it on the news channel as a live reporting. They wouldn't do it. They said it was an intriguing subject, but the administrator of video said it would not air because it would be too dangerous for the channel. So they did not do it. But that was a multiple person sighting, which I was part of. Then on the night of my dad's wake, we went to a Walmart parking lot to get out and go into Walmart and just mellow out after being at the church. And I started taking pictures of the sunset with a digital camera. I took 2 shots. And with digital cameras, you can zoom in and actually edit your photos that you take. I zoomed in and I caught 3 balls of light evenly spaced in a row in the first shot. In the second shot, I caught 10. They were evenly spaced in a row, hanging above a bluff in Winona, Minnesota. And I have that on an 8x10, and I have posted it on Facebook. So it is on the Facebook group that we have, UFO Man Nation. So if you want to check that out, you can. It is a legitimate UFO sighting. Did not make any sound. I have been photographing them. I have been filming them with cameras. This is why I started UFO Man. Both the abduction experiences and the bruises and the marks I've received. I've had a pie-shaped mark on my upper right forearm. I've had bruises on my knees. I have a round welt in the middle of my chest with 6 puncture wounds that happened on January 1st, 2009, and it's still there today. I talked to a doctor. He said it looks like a vaccination, but I've never had a vaccination. I confirmed it with Daryl Sims on an interview, and he said, yes, that is a procedure mark that has been reported before in multiple abductions, and that I shouldn't be concerned because it is just a procedure mark. In regards to that, I had an implant behind my left ear for several years, and it disappeared about 6 months ago because I had blood on my pillow. Then one day I was talking to my flock, Sarah, after I woke up abruptly from a nap, and I had blood on my hands and on my arm and on my face. And Sarah said, "You're bleeding." And so I went into the bathroom to look in the mirror, and I had a rectangular shape puncture wound on the upper part of my cheek, along with a circular puncture wound on the lower part of my cheek. And I took a picture of it, a screenshot, and I shared it with Daryl Sims. Daryl Sims is the foremost authority worldwide on alien abductions. And I showed it to him, and he said, yeah, that rectangular one is a procedure mark. So they actually did something to me in broad daylight in 2 hours of a nap that I took. So things do happen without other people realizing it when they're watching you on live feed. And Sarah was watching me, and she didn't see anything. So something happened to me. So I'm going to say this. I've had so many experiences, and only recently have I remembered a long-term memory of a giant tarantula being in my sister's bedroom doorway when I was 4 years old. Scared the living daylights out of me. It was a black spider, about 3.5 foot tall, 3.5 foot wide, hairy legs, black body, black eyes, and it was staring right at me. I ran back to my room and I started screaming for my folks. They came up and got me and then walked me past the door. There's nothing there. And I looked and there was nothing there. It was gone. Now, I shared this story with Daryl. He said that he and his wife also saw the same size black spider in their living room. So that confirmed the fact that what I was seeing was a non-human intelligence or a screen memory, one of the two. Mm-hmm. And also, Holly has some like that as well. I'm sure we'll get into later. Also, when I was 9, I woke up in the middle of the night because I felt something watching me in the room. And I woke up and there were hundreds of quarter-sized golden balls floating around my room. They were self-illuminated, didn't make any sound, and they were just floating around the room. And I thought, wow, they're pretty cool. But they seemed aware of my presence. They lasted about 30 minutes and then they just blinked out.
Mm-hmm.
3 nights in a row, and then it never occurred again. So
Interesting.
a lot of interesting things that have happened to me. So UFO Man is a creation to discover whether any of you out there in the chat or any of you watching have had the same kind of experiences, because I want to learn more to find out if what I saw was what I really, really saw.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a really, really good point. Wow. And, that's why I started this channel. Actually, I started this channel before I met you, Tim, but I wanted a safe place for experiencers. And people don't have to think the way I do. They don't have to believe what I believe. They can still be who they are and share and have safe space. And I think that's really, really important. Instead of different channels competing against each other, I think we're kind of one big family. I'm wondering if we could jump over to Polly now, because she may have to go due to her circumstances. And I'm sure the audience would love to hear about her experience, research, and how she came to be part of your group. But I don't want to cut you off, Tim, so I just want to...
I'm just going to answer Geek Culture 101.
Okay.
He said, can't help but wonder if that has to do with some of his health challenges. No, all this happened before I even knew I had any of those challenges. I was still walking. I was still physically fit. I was younger. This happened back in the 90s. So that was like, what, 30 some years ago. So no, that did not have anything to do with my health. Yes, we will need to dive into some of your experiences sometime, Geek Culture 101 or Jeremy. I would like to have you on the channel. So yeah, we will do that once I recover my channel.
Yeah.
I thank everyone for listening to my story.
Oh, it was awesome. It was awesome. Polly, what do you have to say? Oh, I know you've got quite the experience that you can talk about too. But we want to leave room for Sarah too. It's only a 1-hour show. So go ahead, Polly. Tell us what you want to share today.
Oh my God. Well, actually, this is why I love what we do so much, because when we talk about our experiences, suddenly we found out other people that went through the same things, so we can compare and we can see which species are we talking about, everything. So actually, when I was about, I think, 6 years old, I had, as Tim just told you, I had also an experience with a huge tarantula. And in this case, I was sleeping. And since I was a little child, I am very empath to everything. I feel everything very deep. People, especially kids, nature, clouds. Like I feel everything very deep. So for some reason, I was sleeping and something told me, like I had this strong feeling that, you need to wake up, you need to wake up, wake up, you need to wake up. And so, I just sat on my bed and I see in front of me my sister sleeping on her bed, and a huge tarantula the size of a beetle car grabbing her from her bed and taking her away. And so, I first time in my life I see something like that. I wanted to scream, but I felt completely petrified. It's like time stopped around me. And I remember I wanted to scream, like, Dad! And I could not. I could not move. I could not scream. I could only see this huge tarantula grabbing my sister. And suddenly, as it started, it ended. Everything came back to normality, I guess. My sister didn't move at all. Like, she kept sleeping all the time. And I just felt I like very scared. I did not understand what happened. And I just tried to went to sleep again, not understanding what happened, but also, I could not. I was thinking about, okay, I need to talk with my parents, but what exactly am I going to say? I don't have nothing to show them. I cannot, I don't know how I am going to explain this. So I just grew up very alone with this experience. Till suddenly, when I have 7 years old, I used to come back from school. My parents were my father was a pediatrician, rest in peace, and my mother is nurse. So we had a huge library full of medical books in our third floor in our house. And for some reason, since I was a little girl, I was super interested in medicine. I could not understand the language of those books, but looking at the pictures, and back then we didn't have internet or computers or cell phones, so everything was through books and encyclopedias. And those pictures was for me everything. Like, knowing our body from the inside out was amazing for me. One day I came back from the school. I picked up one of those books. And what happened is that the image I see looks like a triangle, a black and white picture with a black triangle with three lights in each corner, like three dots. Now, while I am staring at this image, I feel again how everything stops, like when I was in the tarantula situation. So I could not hear my grandmother and not my sisters, the birds. I was born in Bogota, Colombia. It's a huge city, so the noise, like nothing. Everything was paralyzed again, like I was losing time. And I was petrified with the book on my hands, trying to understand what is going on. I cannot move, like nothing, not scream. And suddenly, what I could see is this triangle. Like, I could see like green numbers running through my head, like I was receiving a download. And
Kind of like the
so, if you
Matrix.
exactly, so if you imagine a computer running green numbers and numbers and numbers, and I don't understand how this is in my brain, but on the same time I could see like the numbers were translated in images inside my brain. So I could see this triangle hovering outside planet Earth. And I guess that's the first time I felt a telepathic communication where something told me this is a different kind of technology, a different kind of plane. We don't live on planet Earth, but we come to visit you from time to time. And as it started, it ended. You know, everything came back to reality. I could hear again the noises inside my house. I could move again, feel myself again, and I was so lost. I needed to have a seat for a second and understand what happened again. Because, if you compare the two experiences, back then I was sleeping, but now I'm totally awake. I just came back from school and something huge happened here that I cannot explain or understand because I've never seen a craft like that before. I was only 7 years old. And again, how am I going to explain this to my parents?
It's like you had a
Not
download.
my Yes, so not my sisters, not my family, not no one were talking about these kind of things. And so I grew up very lonely with this experience. After I finished school, I studied journalism and social communication, which was also crucial for me because, um, at some point after I finished my studies, I decided that Colombia was not the place for me. And when I was 21 years old, I left everything, my family, everything, and I came to live here in Israel, which is the country where I live today. Actually, today I celebrate 27 years here.
Wow.
Um,
Awesome.
Mhm.
but it was amazing because I see the relation between everything, nothing is a coincidence anymore, but more like a synchronicity. So
Mhm.
when I came here, I could use my journalism in order to research, you know, um, everything because when I came here we had already internet, so I could start researching about podcast or books or whatever information I could find about these kind of triangles or writers or podcasters. Or so I found MUFON for the first time and I understood I was not the only one going through these experiences and having sightings. And so I understood my mission here was really trying to find the most accurate information to share all over the world. And so I became member, I joined many pages around the world. And for 2, 3, and 4 years, I supported these pages. So many of them, we started from zero and today they have more than 10,000 people, you name it. But like in the last 2 years, I started working with the UFO man, and we've been doing this show, which has been amazing.
Right? Thank you.
Exactly because of this, because we can share this experience. So this is really an honor for me to be a part of your show. And the truth is that when I came to Israel, um, things just continued here because at some point, when I heard Bob Lazar talking for the first time, talking about reverse technology and the fact that the government knows about this and we don't know about this, and the Vatican and you name it, like I said, oh my God, like I cannot believe this, like I cannot stay quiet with this. I need to research and start sharing this information. And I guess also my frequency changed towards that. So it became a 24/7 thing for me. I wake up with this phenomenon in my head and I go to sleep with it on my head. I'm all the time researching information because I want people to know and to grow consciousness and to understand what is going on, not only with the government but with ourselves. So this is huge. And when I started here, at some point in 2000, and I was about 38 years old, 2016, I think. I was trying to get pregnant, and I did it through IVF. But I noticed that through my IVF, every time I was having my ovulation cycles, I was having this strange experience where actually I go to sleep and I feel like I am vacuumed, I guess is the best way to explain it, to another soil. And I land in this place that looks like a Martian soil, a very red sand. It doesn't look like planet Earth, a very rocky mountain situation. I feel lost. I don't know how I got there. I just went to sleep. I start walking and walking, and suddenly there is this figure coming towards me. It's a little boy. This boy, we are talking about a 5, 6 years old boy. He looks completely humanoid, but his eyes, he's got his this huge black almond, from the grace eyes. And I'm asking questions. What are we doing here? How did I get here? Like, who are you? Where are your parents? But nothing was answered. He just took my hand, and through contact, he was kind of telling me, don't worry, everything is going to be okay. You don't need to be afraid of nothing.
Okay.
Well,
We lost her.
uh-oh.
Her
Well,
internet dropped probably.
Okay. Okay. Let's hope she's okay. Let's just put it
Yeah.
that way. And
Yes.
I guess we'll just go on to you, Sarah. We're actually only have about 15 minutes left. I'm sorry. Next
That's
time
okay.
we'll have you first.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, in brief, when I started coming to YouTube full time, right? I was looking for a UFO channel that had, credibility and integrity, and they weren't out to destroy everybody, right? Because I can make my own decisions what I think and think is not a thing. I don't need anybody to tell me about it. You know what I mean? And that just becomes too negative to hear all the bad when you're missing over the good that's out there, right? And so when I found UFO Man's channel, Tim, I was in a bunch of UFO stuff, and then I left a bunch of those channels because they all were just going to sit there and say they knew everything all the time. Their opinions were perfect, and I'm like, what? Anyways, and so I was not a fan of those things. But Tim's channel is that he has people on that you may not normally get to see, and also some big names too. But he treats everybody with respect, and I really like that. I appreciate that. So that's how I found his UFO channel, and I've had some experiences happen to me as well. But Polly's back, so let's talk to her.
Okay.
All right.
Oh my God, guys, I'm sorry we are having so also Wi-Fi issues, but yeah. So what I was saying is that this little boy picked me up in the desert and he was calming me down. We started walking, and suddenly he guided me to this place that looks in the middle of nowhere. We found a tent, a simple tent, no matter tent, just four sticks and the fabric. It looks a tent like for 10 people. I was so happy. I said, oh my God, we found his family. Maybe, I was thinking in human terms. We need shelter, we need water, we need food, you know. And so this little boy opens the tent. And when we go inside, guys, I guess that's the shock of my life because this place is not a tent for 10 people. We are talking about a huge round craft. Um, I could see two floors. In the second floor, there were like black smoked windows all over. The place is so big, I cannot see the end of it. It's just like I'm just in a room, in a compound, just a part of it. The first floor looks very clean, very metallic, very simple designed. Um, and in the left side, I could see a kind of Lego structure, like stairs. There is an entity sitting there, and he talks to me. He says, we are glad you are here because you are the only one that can help us and save us right now. And I was so lost. I said, like, what are you talking about? Like, who are you guys? But this little boy takes again my hand, and I have to say that from the moment I saw this boy, I felt a profound feeling of motherhood with him. Like this boy is mine, and I need to do everything for him to be okay. I love that boy till today, like he is my boy. Now, when he touched my hand again, he shows me the place. And so I could see that I am actually in a ER room where there are 50 beds with women in different stages of pregnancy, some of them with the babies that were just born, and some of them, I were like in the third month, the fifth month, different stages of pregnancy. What I could see in the middle of the craft was from the ceiling a very white, bright light coming from the ceiling. And in the middle of it, that was the first time I could see a praying mantis standing there. She was huge. It was about 2 meters and five, 2 meters five. A huge shock. I guess my brain was trying to understand what I was seeing, but I didn't feel um, threatened or afraid. On the contrary, the moment I looked inside her eyes, I could see a profound knowledge about DNA and this universe creation and chromosomes. And, you know, she knows so much about the universe and our DNA. And so it was like seeing 10 movies at the same time when I looked straight into her eyes. But at the same time, she gave me the first message. Now it's time to do your job. And so I knew that all that knowledge that I gathered about medicine during all these years, that was the time that I needed to help all these women and babies, not only with my knowledge, but especially my empathy was needed here, where I could actually hold those babies and show them what is human love and, hug them and kiss them because I didn't know what will happen with them afterwards. And I didn't even know if those women were conscious about the fact that they were going through an hybridization program, you know but I felt it was super important for me to hold them and tell them that everything was going to be okay, especially for the babies. And so the moment I finish check everyone, I go back to my bed. I am vacuumed again. I wake up absolutely lost. And in one of those times, I woke up actually with a mark on my leg. It looks like a cat paw, I guess, is the best way to describe it. It looks like I was burned with something, printed with something. It took about 24 hours to disappear, and actually after that, I succeeded to get pregnant. My boy was born in 2015, and he's very aware about the phenomenon. He actually has his own sightings. He's been drawing pictures about it. Um, you know, it's beautiful because when we talk about this in a generational way, it's not only with the aliens, I guess, and how it goes through generation from generation to generation, but when we talk with our kids about it, well, that's growing consciousness too, and disclosure, whatever that means, they will be more prepared for it and more conscious about it. So it's beautiful, and he's
Mhm.
part of it, you know.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's lovely, lovely. I've really enjoyed our conversation so far, but you know what? We're quickly running out of time. I'm going to have you guys back if that's okay. And I
Yes.
want
Sounds
to
fine.
and I want to say how much
Sure.
I love all the comments in the live chat. You guys are awesome. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for all your love and support. Now, before we end the show, I want to give Sarah another chance to speak maybe a bit to her experience and then tell everybody where we can find you. My audience, where your audience probably already knows, but my audience, where we can find you so that people can go to your channels, sub up, and help support the wonderful, wonderful work that you're all doing.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. I'm my flock is everywhere. I do shows Thursday. It's just a nonsense show on Thursdays. A lot of fun. Then I do Wednesday shows with Tim when he does them, and then there's other channels that I uh, guest on there sometimes, talk about movies and TVs and stuff, shows and whatever. So I do the whole gambit of getting information. So yeah. But as far as like I never seen a spider or anything like that. Now, in brief, a few years back there was a fire here in town because I live in California. We're always on fire, and I was filming the fire, and from the distance, suddenly, you know, something flew past really quick, right? But at the time, I didn't pay any mind to it. I figured it was just a fly from the outside, right?
Mhm.
Upon somebody else looking at my video, going, "Oh, did you notice that like I had caught a UFO and it flew past the fire, so it wasn't a fire drone because it missed its target completely." So, yeah, and I mean I have that. And then there's this other time that I was told that I sleepwalked all the time as a kid, right? It's just this one time in particular, I would have had to sleepwalk and climb like a 6 foot fence one way in a ditch and stuff, or I had to walk like a block and a half on the sidewalk, then a whole bunch through the field, and then lay down in barbed wire. I just don't see me doing that, And that was a really interesting morning to wake up outside in the field, right? So who knows? That could have been like one of the first encounters that I had at the time, and not sleepwalking, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm gonna tell you, I broke down those boards and went the quicker way back home, which the 6-foot fence. I had to kick the boards down to get in, right? So that wasn't that great of an experience. But there's other things that, like here, I've been waking up bruised, really bad, like bruises on my knees, bruises on my arms. Like, it looks like I'm being held down all night, right? So, in the nutshell,
Sarah, tell about the gray that came out of the wall.
Well, anyways, so like a few weeks back, I was asleep and I'm facing this way, and this section here was like just blackness because I only had my phone light on. Everything else was dark in here. And then like I was just listening to my headphones, and then I opened my eyes, and out of the darkness I see like half a Gray's face and arm, like just retreating back into the darkness, right? And I'm like, well, I'm just gonna lay here. That was weird. And then Daryl Sims, he said like, oh yeah, it was already over with by the time you realized anything was happening. So I'm like, oh, okay. Anyways, yeah, so it's been interesting, to say the least. I mean, I wake up sometimes, it feels like I've been punched like right here in my side a lot, and it's just like, why? Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I find the whole thing incredibly fascinating, and I have more to say, but we'll save that for next time.
Yeah, for part 2, for sure, for sure. So yeah, we've had a few challenges today with the technology and the internet and everything else, but oh my gosh, I learned a lot from you guys today. And I really, really appreciate you coming on my show. And thank you too for all your audience coming to the live chat and supporting us. You guys are all absolutely awesome. So everybody, please do sub up to everybody. Watch our shows. Even if you're doing housework and you want to play it in the background, I'm sure we all could use the view time. Helps us out a lot so that we can continue to bring peace and love into our community and support each other. And it's just fabulous. I can't tell you how good that is for my spirit. So I guess that is it for today. Just going to send out much love to everybody. You guys are awesome. And yeah, you rock my world. And Polly, please stay safe as you can. I know you will. Our prayers are with you. Sarah, Tim's recovering from some major surgery. Your prayers could go out to both of them as well. And I actually truly believe prayer is the very first kind of transdimensional contact that we're all capable of doing. And I don't know about you guys, but my prayers have been answered. And I'm not even an overly a religious person. So I'm a firm believer in prayer and holding positive thoughts for each other. And so I guess that's it for today. Boy, the time sure went fast. Yeah. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for being here, all of you. Those listening maybe on a replay or an audio, you're important too. We love you all. So we'll say bye-bye and we'll see you next time.
See you all. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Love you guys.
Thank you for joining me for the Aliens and Angels podcast. Read about my true life ET contact in my book called Transdimensional Meet the New Neighbors, which is now available on Amazon worldwide. Subscribe to my YouTube, Rumble, and X channels at Karen Holton TV. The like button and leave me a comment, and please do share this podcast with your friends. Check out my website at www.KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com to see my free resources and amazing products and services. All of the links will be in the description below. As part of the Forbidden Knowledge Network, You'll also find the Quantum Guide Show with Karen Holton on all audio platforms. Until next time, keep up the good work.